guys? Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey and Water. I am currently doing the intro solo because Jess is having crippling period pains. So here we are. We are just taking it moment by moment, and we have a great episode for you this week. Although I'm doing my solo intro, it's the both of us for our guest today. Our guest interview we have on Ronald. He is a good friend of ours and a photographer, and we have a great conversation about being a photographer in Miami. And it's his 6th year, and he's all self-taught and learned from YouTube, and he is just a complete hustler. He gives such good advice on creating a personal brand for yourself and how to get clients as a photographer. And we just kind of talk about being a creative and the importance of marketing yourself in that way, and really just branding yourself and how to use social media to really put yourself out there. And it's a great conversation. This is so weird. I'm like not used to being the only one talking, but you guys will definitely enjoy this week's episode. I think I'm going to save the catch up for the next time Jess and I sit down and record together, because I don't know, it's just not the same. This is not the water show. This is the Whiskey and Water show. But anyways, I think you guys are going to love this episode, and we love you guys so much. And if you're listening, and if you've been a loyal listener of our show for a long time and haven't given us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts yet, I think can you do it on Spotify? I don't know. Or, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just please help support our show in any way you possibly can. It means the world to us. And we're coming up on season, I don't even know what season we're at now. This is our 92nd episode, which is wild. But now I'm just rambling, so I'm just going to stop. I hope you guys are good. Don't worry, we will catch up in the next episode. We'll fill you guys in on everything that's been happening in our lives the past couple weeks. And yeah, hope you enjoy this week's show. I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye.
All right, guys, we are live on the other side with Ronald. What's up today?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
What's up?
Welcome to the virtual Whiskey and Water table.
Studio.
Virtual, man. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you on. We've been watching you for a while. We know you are
watching
just
you
hustling on the gram. And it's so cool, and we respect the hell out of it. So we're excited to have you on.
Yeah, I mean, you're always sharing just like super positive stuff that always resonates with the both of us. And the other day I was like, why haven't we had him on? And so just to give you guys a little bit of background, Ronald is a Miami-based entrepreneur, photographer, creative, hustler, all those good things. And we both know him through, the industry. I've shot with you before. So yeah, just felt like,
we shot together, right?
Have you?
Yes, 2016. Because I was going back. I was like, damn.
Yeah, we definitely did.
I didn't even know what I was doing. But yeah, like literally.
Same. That's me now, though.
Now we shot with him back in the day when we were shooting, and now we just do not shoot it. We shoot each other. Yeah,
right. We do. We're each other's photographers.
That was when we were real models.
I actually forgot, but we went to Turks and Caicos together.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that trip that I did with like Macy and whatnot. Yeah, so that was a good time. But cool. Yeah, so for the people who don't know who you are, just give them a little insight on your background, your journey. What's led you up to this point?
So for those that don't know me, I am a photographer here based in Miami. This is year 6 for me. It's been a crazy fast ride, super fortunate, super blessed. Started off in retail, worked at Publix for 15 years. And then
you worked at Publix for 15 years?
Get out of town.
What?
Get out.
Yeah. I'm 37.
Well, yeah, first of all, I was like, what the fuck is the timeline here?
First of all, wow.
Wait, I had one. Oh, there's a lot to unpack here. Sorry, not to interrupt you. One, you're 37.
Yeah. What the fuck?
You look great, King. You look great.
Oh my God.
I appreciate it.
2, Publix, 15 years. You are a veteran. That is crazy.
Did my time there. Yeah.
You probably ran that shit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I did that, and then it's a lot to try to. I guess that's what we're here for. They want to hear the story.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yes,
tell us your story.
I did Publix for 15 years, but when I left, I still played it safe, and I got another job. So that's when I worked at Lib. I don't know if you guys remember me working the nightlife. No. So I worked at Lib too. So I did that. Yeah, I did that. And then from there, I kind of just cultivated, the networking, the nightlife and stuff like that. and then picked up, oh, but before that I was doing personal training. So I did personal training for a while. And then I kind of told my clients like I wanted to do something else because I didn't really have a passion for training. I had more fun taking pictures of the clients and like the before and afters. And then
Yeah.
that's when this is like 2013. And then that's when like Instagram was out as far as just like pictures, only pictures at that time.
Yeah.
So it kind of just got me intrigued to get into the whole creative side. And then that's when I dove into photography. It was probably like the beginning of like 2014.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's kind of like when we first started kind of
Yeah.
getting our, feet wet with Instagram as well. It was like 2013, 2014.
Yeah,
So.
and starting to do shoots because that's the year I graduated high school, and I was like, I want to start shooting again, and we'd just hit up random photographers, and we would just meet up and shoot random shit in random places.
So you started working at Live. When did you like transition to full-time photographer?
Okay, so there's more to that story. So I worked at Live. Obviously, if you guys know anybody or if you worked in nightlife, it takes a toll on you.
Oh, for sure.
Business was picking up, but not to where I was confident enough to go full time, but enough to where it was like I knew that, wait a minute, I can do this. And it was taking away a lot of opportunities. So from there, I still played it safe, and I was like, if I'm gonna have a job, it needs to be something that can leverage my photography. So then I worked at the airport and I did that for a year and a half. So I still played it safe, like entrepreneurship, like it's not easy, right? So I was like, oh, I'm jumping, but I was like, well, I need to get at least free flights so I can go to LA and facilitate the photography lifestyle. I did that, and then they only paid me $8 an hour, but like the flights were free, so it was good. And business was picking up because I had like my schedule was more flexible. I wasn't locked down on weekends. And then business really picked up. And then like, I just saved, like, honestly, I only saved like 3 months worth of rent. And I had enough confidence. I was like, if I go all in, I know there's going to be a difference. And that was the difference, because when I always had like a backup plan, whether it was Uber or a second, like whatever, like once I went all in, that's when it changed. So that was like 20, well, that's fast forward a little bit. That's like 2017. So like I've been like full-time, like only photography for like 3 years now.
That's awesome. And we always kind of like say when you begin to make those leaps of faith, it's when the universe starts to reward you and realize that, once you're opening yourself up to these opportunities, it's like, all right, bet. Like, you wanted work, we'll give you work.
Yeah. And at the same time, I feel like although you did take a leap of faith, I feel like it was very strategized too, which I think is important, because you hear a lot of people talking about, oh, I took a leap of faith and I quit my job and I just knew I'd figure it out, which is great if you can do that. But like, I'm not that type of person. I need to have like a B and C and D plan. And it kind of sounds like that's kind of what you had going on too. So I really like that concept of like, you look at the risks and you look at how you can manage
risk management,
manage them. And it's having a leap of faith, but it's doing a leap of faith, but with a plan,
calculated leaps of faith.
Yeah, exactly. Calculated. And I think that's really good advice for anyone who's like struggling with that whole leap of faith thing. Like, should I quit my job? Should I go for the entrepreneurship? It's like, make sure you have a solid plan in mind, because yes, it's great to trust in the universe, but it's like, that thing where luck meets opportunity and then it makes for success. Yeah.
I think also, not to cut you off, like for me and for most people, it's always the resources. And I was like, well, I knew what my living expenses were. And I was like, I can figure it. Like, I got 3 months to figure it out. Right.
Yeah.
So, then, so that the resources will always hold people back. So that's why like saving money is so important, because when will you ever get that courage? You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. That safety net, so. Yeah.
The resources give you opportunities.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have without them.
Yeah. And I'm curious about like, so when you started into photography, what was your game plan? Like how did you make a living for yourself? Because I feel like a lot of people that are creatives, kind of lack the other side, it's like a left brain, right brain type of thing. So like they're really creative, super, was it right brain? Or I don't know which one is which. Okay. But very creative, but they don't have that analytical side to say, okay, I need to save X amount of money. I need to,
they're not business
minded. They're just creative. So what was your kind of game plan, and how did you, set yourself up for success?
So, I mean, what I know now, it's different, but back then it's just like, you have to taste everything. You have to figure out your style. You don't have a
Yeah.
following. It's just a
Right.
lot of things that you don't have enough gear. So it's always going to be like, you have to kind of like play the game. You do have to believe in yourself. You have to practice. You have to shoot. You have to reach out. You have to sacrifice. You have to shoot for free. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what it is. And then if you can get through all of that, then you can make it to another side, which is not the end, right? So it's like, okay, I did that. So now, what do I like shooting? What intrigues me? So then, because if you like shooting that, then you're going to want to shoot it. And then if you like doing something, you should. You got to get good at it at some point if you like doing it, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, so, but in the beginning, I didn't know my style. I came out of the fitness industry. I shot everything. And I really remember, I think it was like the year that we shot Olivia, like people were telling me, he's like, yeah, he's dope, but he only shoots swimwear. I got offended. So then that's when I just started shooting everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he's dope, he's gonna be swimwear. And then you feel like you're missing out. And it's funny because like now I finally figured out what my niche is, like year 6, because I can do everything, but that doesn't mean do everything.
Right.
And I was like, oh, what's like has been facilitating my lifestyle? And it's like swimwear. So it's like, all right,
dive in.
You know, it's like
full
that
circle.
It's like, okay, like, yeah, I could do headshots, I could do fitness, and you feel like you're missing out, but you're not. And so it's like, I just execute that and just be the best at that, you know? Then I started, you know what I mean? So
totally. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because that's a concept we talk about a lot, is like building halfway bridges. Like, you know, you get into something and then something else looks like it's a better opportunity, then you go towards that, and then something else, and you keep getting these distractions. But I really like that you kind of got a taste of everything and then really honed in and became an expert in that one field. And like, it's better for your brand as a personal brand. Instead of being like, yeah, I shoot everything, it's like, I am a swimwear photographer, and then you book those campaigns and then you start traveling for those campaigns, and then it's like, that's just what people know you for. But at the same time, playing devil's advocate, but then are you boxing yourself in? You know, like it's a good conversation to have.
Personally, I feel like if a client, you know, that does swimwear and, you know, they're posting it, and then like a, you know, a athletic or lifestyle brand sees that and they're like, I like his work. You know, I feel like if they are going to pay you your rate, it's like, fuck it, you know, I'll shoot whatever you know, you need me to shoot, as long as you guys understand that this is my style and this is how I work. But how do you kind of feel about that?
I feel like that's where like the style, like, you know, everyone kind of has a camera. We have a cell phone, right? And then even brands now, they're kind of cutting us out. Everything's going towards video, and that's a whole nother topic. But it's really developing a style of your own that can just carry over through everything. And then even if you are getting, you know, booked for other things, you don't necessarily have to post it. It's like at some point you're gonna have to figure out the brand identity, because that's like super important. Like somebody messaged me today and it felt so refreshing. He was like, hey man, I saw your page and I followed you within 4 seconds. And I'm like, and these are the things I preach, like when I do my one-on-ones, because it's like, people don't have time to scroll. Like, which is like, even sometimes I'll just repurpose old content, because like, oh my God, it's like, I didn't know you were in Turks and Caicos. You know, like, well, like, so, you know, you have to, like, once you develop that style, the color palette and things like that, you just stay with that, and then you don't necessarily have to post you know, the headshots, or even if you get booked, you know. But the client usually knows what they want. If they like the style, they're like, hey, he can do this with fitness, he can do this with this as well.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
And it's necessarily missing out all the time, you know, because you still get booked.
Yeah, that's a great point, because even with modeling, like, you know, we definitely do shoots that are not aligned with our personal brand, but we just don't post it. You know, I don't think we post anything from any shoots that we do, because now our content is so particular to our lifestyle brands that it's like pretty much anything we shoot is not going to align with that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. We definitely can relate. I don't want to feel like we're backtracking, but I kind of want to let our audience know, for those who don't know you, like what it is you do, because you talked a little bit about the consulting that you do. So I think it would be helpful just for people to know like the scope of your entrepreneurship and the type of services you offer.
Aside from photography.
Yeah. So with photography and the success that I've had, I've learned a lot. And now I'm at the purpose or the time where I understand my purpose, where it's just all education. Like if someone says, hey, Ron, you shot Serena Williams, you did this, you did that, like what's next for you? For me, it's all education. Like I didn't get here by myself. And I wish that when I started, there was all these resources, because it wasn't TikTok and like people are like telling you how to do it now. Before it was like you had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And because of that, I realized how I feel when I give back and the responses that I get from people. So that's why I started the one-on-one mentoring. And then like it's deeper than that because I pride myself on being more than a photographer, obviously with the lifestyle and the fitness, the motivation. So even now, like I'll get mentoring for just, hey man, how do you have time to go to the gym and be a photographer? So I offer those services, and I can help you out with, pretty much anything. If you want to, uh, get more exposure for your business, you don't know how to market yourself, and even on the YouTube side, which I started too, I've grown that too. So if it's something that I can do, I would do it, but I won't take on anything that I can't do, So
Super cool. And you sell presets too, right? For Lightroom?
He says, I mean, what don't I sell? Like, that's the thing with me. Like, I mean, we all have to be sales people at some point, whether you're selling yourself, a service, personality. But yeah, I have presets, I have merch, which I started in 2017.
Hell yeah. Love your merch.
Everything is all within the brand.
Yeah.
And I have so much clarity now, and it feels good.
Oh, I love that. Clarity is the best feeling, man.
It really is.
Especially when you go through a time period of not having it. It's like once you finally get it, you're like, yes.
It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I feel like you can breathe.
An analogy I like to use, like right now, I feel like getting on the turnpike at 5 a.m. and there's no cars on the road. That's how I feel in my business. Like I can go as fast as I want. There's nobody in the way. And a lot of people, and it just is what it is. It's like you're getting on the road now and there's a lot of cars. You don't know where to go. You got to take the back street. Like me, I'm just boom. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's nobody in my way. Like
hell yeah, brother.
And what would you say to like an aspiring creative or photographer that is trying to gain clarity?
I would say, and I always preach this, it's just a circle. You have to get as close to the sun as possible. Whatever field you're in, there's going to be someone that's doing it the right way. You have to find a way to get in front of them, find a way to get their time, pay for their time, get coaching. That's going to be, because whatever they're doing, like there's going to be a close chance of you doing that, So that's the advice I would give. You have to get a tight circle, follow people that inspire you, reach out. A lot of my friends that I've met reached out to me in the beginning of my career when I didn't have following, but I was super nice and we're still friends to this day. So don't be scared to reach out, just because like I respond to everybody and I still get those messages like, man, I can't believe you replied to me, which is why I reply, because there's a lot of people that are just like big headed and it's like, it sucks,
For sure.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I wish there was like more of that, because I feel like on the internet can be very intimidating, especially when you see someone with a huge audience.
Yeah, but I feel like we also know that people can almost be like very entitled, to like your information.
That's the flip side of it.
So I mean,
and then you're like, here's my mentorship program.
Yeah, facts. But like, because you say like, oh, I wish there was more of that. And sometimes I know that I can be that, but sometimes I'm like, no, fuck this person. Not that I want to be, but someone will message me and just like so entitled, like not saying, no, please, no, thank you. It's like, I want this. How did you get that?
You owe
and
me
it's like,
your knowledge.
And it's like, I spent, hundreds of hours, either doing research or even like a good, a good example is locations. So I actually messaged Ron the other day about a location that I thought I had seen him shoot at before. And I was like, hey, like, I sent him a photo. I was like, was this the shoot that you did? I have been searching for this location. I have been independently trying to find it, but this is my last fucking chance.
It's my last resort.
Yeah. And he sent it to me and sent me like all the information about it. And that was awesome. And like, that's something that of course I would do for a friend that said, hey, I've already tried to find this location on my own and I couldn't.
I've exhausted my resources.
But like, I'll have like a brand DM me and they'll be like, hey, what location is this? And I'm like, I'm a whole ass, like we are a whole ass photography team. Like we do location scouting. Like we spend hours on this stuff. So it's like for a brand to like reach out and like,
that's a service.
I'm like, that's a service. You know what I'm saying? And so I felt bad, but I did not send someone a location the other day.
Very curious to know your take on that.
I recently had that happen. So the client booked me for a shoot prior, like a week or two prior. Then they hit me up and it's like, hey, we're in town. Do you know a place that we can shoot at? They said we, like me. And they weren't referring to me. And I purposely didn't. I just left them on. Like,
as you should.
I don't think I left them on red, but I kind of just like, I didn't give them the location because it's like, well, you're not hiring me. Why would I tell you the location?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
why would I tell you my location if you're not hiring me?
Be like, whoever you hired for that can help you out with that,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty nice, but it's just like, dang, like, it's not even a greed thing. It's just like, that's never happened to me. Usually if a client asks me, hey man, we're trying to get this location, like, I'm the person that, and to your point, whoever is facilitating that shoot, have them look for the location, not someone you're not even working with. Like,
Exactly.
What's your take on people feeling like, do you ever get a DM where you feel like someone is just entitled and you feel like you almost don't want to share with them, or are you always just like share, helping people out?
Either they don't reply or they give the information. Sometimes I do sense that because it's still like the photography game, and I get it because like I have to backtrack. It's like the reason why I'm so free now is because I can be. It feels good. I have a body of work. The proof is in the pudding. So, and I understand that if I tell you how to do something, it's not going to affect my clients. But if you backtrack, you're like, I don't even have a style yet, and I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I like to shoot yet. I haven't shot at this location enough times. Right. And that's when it gets a little, you know what I mean? But it's deeper than that because most people that are successful are showing you how to do it. Like chefs, they show you exactly how to cook, but it don't matter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They're showing you the recipes.
They're showing it to you.
Yeah. I think it's different too because you've built your personal brand off of being an educator, whereas we are like, we don't sell those services. Like we don't teach people how to be influencers. So when people slide in our DMs and they're like, hey, I haven't Googled one single thing, but I expect you to tell me exactly how to make money on Instagram. We're like, what? That's not like what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's crazy when someone doesn't even at least like try to.
We at least now have the podcast where we'll send them the episode that we did on how to become an influencer. So we have that resource and we're always happy to share that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have the podcast is to like, like
to give back,
to give back, to educate, to share, to inspire. And so it's like when people, do message us about like influencing, I'm like, well, we have a whole ass podcast where we talk about this pretty much every day.
And it is nice that we can give someone a resource. And I'm sure you feel the same. There is something that's very fulfilling about it. I mean, literally, like she said, the podcast is pure fulfillment for us. Like that is what it is. So I definitely can understand like, sweet. Thank you. So I definitely get what you're saying by like, you did the photography thing and now there's like so much more. It's like bigger than that, there's a lot of fulfillment that comes from helping others get there too.
For sure.
I would love to talk about paid bookings only.
Yeah.
Because so paid bookings only is your merch line. And so I would kind of love to just talk about how that became about because it's something that we stand by. So we'd love to just talk about like the birth of that.
I don't think I fully, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't think I really told the story. So this would be like the first. I mean, my friends know, but like publicly, like really people don't know. But like, hey, like,
let's get into it.
Basically, this was like year 2 or 3, I believe, to the end of 2017. It was always in my bio because I wanted to scare away models. I did. It's in my bio now because I'm trying to scare people away. But I just wanted to have some authority because in the beginning, I didn't understand what was going on. I was very naive to like what was going on, getting hit up by a model to shoot. And then we shoot, and then we're shooting the stuff at the brand center. And then I'm editing the photos. And she's getting paid. Maybe I like the photos, maybe I didn't. Then I never posted it. So it was a rinse repeat thing where it's like, damn, I didn't use any of that. She got paid. I used it, but then she still got paid. So then, the disrespect sometimes where models being entitled because, women do get a lot of things for free, but then, hey, I want a free photo shoot too. And then it's like, all right. So it came to a point where it's like, I'm gonna just have that in my bio. So I had that in my bio probably like for the last 6 months of 2017. And then it was right around New Year's going into 2018. And I was newly single and I was home. Everybody's out. Happy New Year, boot up. You know how it is, you're just home. But I had that entrepreneur in me and I was like, well, why not go into the new year and build something? I didn't know what it was going to be at the time. I'm just online. It's, Happy New Year. It's late. I'm on the computer, whatever. And I'm just, I'm always on Instagram. Either I'm on Instagram on my phone, I'm on Instagram on the desktop, I'm just always logged in, right? And I look and I'm like, hey, bookings only, like something clicked. I was like, let me see if the domain's available. So the domain was available. And this is when I was learning about drop shipping and Shopify, because I was hanging around some e-commerce guys at the time. So I was getting a taste of that, and I understood like, wow, you don't have to have inventory to make money. You can just fulfill it. They'll fulfill it. So it's very enticing. So I got the domain, and then I was like, there's no way the Instagram handle is going to be available. And then it was. I was like, and that's when it clicked. So then I literally stayed up that whole night, just researched, boom, 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 set the store up. And then the rest was history. Got the LLC and all that stuff. And then, and now I push it. I don't push it as much, but it's there. And now I kind of learned how to market myself without saying buy my hoodies. So now I have a Twitter page to where I post quotes that people can just repost, because the repost game is a whole nother level too. So, so it's pretty
Love
cool.
that.
Maybe we're sleeping on Twitter.
Yeah, right. I love Twitter. I love Twitter. Twitter's my shit.
No, that's awesome. And I love that it's like, it's such a statement, like it's letting people know, first of all, like, if you ain't talking money, I don't want to talk. Mm-hmm. Two, it's like knowing your worth. And we preach about that so much on the show, and just our experience as models and even influencers still, brands definitely try to, you give an inch, people take a mile. It's just how it is. And constantly every day we are having to stand up for our time and our effort and our creative abilities. And I don't want that to sound like privileged, but it's definitely something that we have to deal with every day, which is like negotiating and just knowing our worth and putting our foot down. And by saying like paid bookings only, it's just such a statement. And then like wearing it on a shirt when you go out for a swim week fashion show, it's like, people see that and they're just like,
Hell yeah.
It almost like, I feel like it almost like catches someone off guard, because they're like, oh shit, okay.
It has a little bit of shock value, because people aren't used to people being so
upfront.
That and like bold in their like abilities, it's like, no, I don't work for free. Yeah, I'm sorry if that offends you.
And I don't do favors for, like a collaboration is different when you want to work with the model and she wants to work with you, totally different. And, same for us when we want to be creative and a photographer wants to be creative. Sure, let's do it. We're homies, sure. But like, to know your worth and to stand up for your worth and to say, I don't do favors, is like huge. And I think a lot of people struggle with setting that boundary.
It's like saying no. You know what I mean? Like it's the power of saying no. And I feel like that's what a lot of people struggle with. And so kind of putting it out. And I see a lot of people put that in like their, like some variation of that in their bios and stuff. And it definitely is a little bit intimidating, but I think that it definitely makes them,
it weeds out a lot of fucking DMs.
It has them taken a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
That's a topic too, because there was a time where I was going through it. I was like, man, because every photographer still shoots for free. They're not going to let you know they shoot for free. That's just what it is, right? So I had trouble figuring out, man, like the times that I do want to collaborate with a model, maybe that's hurting the opportunity, maybe it's hurting the brand opportunity. And I had an ex-friend at the time that was telling me, take it out of your bio, it's going to mess up your brand. But long story short, I kept it and it's been better. So now when I get a DM, it's straight to business. And people still are asking me to shoot for free. So it doesn't matter. I have a product to sell. So like why not have it in the bio?
Yeah.
Right? So it didn't hurt me like I thought it would. Like when someone wants the services, they ask. If somebody wants to shoot for free, they're still going to be like, hey, big head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
Yeah. So at what point were you like, I'm not doing any more free shoots? Like, was that a pivotal moment for you where you were like, you know what? No, my time is more valuable than this, and I'm only doing paid bookings from now on.
It just happened like probably after the pandemic, because we all had to pivot, right? So for me, since I'm doing all education, if we are going to collab, then I'm going to make sure that I'm allowed to educate my audience and shoot BTS and a high quality content for Instagram and YouTube. So that's what I would do on my collabs. But other than that, it's just not going to be just a collab. Like it has to be something, because for the most part, everyone needs something for themselves. She needs the content, I need the content, but it needs to go deeper than that, because IG is just like keeping up with the Joneses. So for me, my end goal is education, subscriptions and, things of that nature. So.
Yeah, I love that, because it makes it so much more like worth it for you. And and a model doesn't get to just post it on Instagram. Like those go into her book, she could probably post them on OnlyFans if that's her vibe too. So it's like, there's other avenues of making money off of those images, and you aren't going to post those to like an OnlyFans. So I'd love that you kind of take advantage of like doing like the BTS and like the education. Like, it makes it way more worth it.
Yeah, you're repurposing like one shoot and turning it into like 6 different mediums. So that's when it's worth it the most. I want to talk about how, you're really good at creating your personal brand and marketing that, especially as a creative. And like we were saying earlier, I feel like a lot of creatives have an issue with that. So I want to know like what your best advice would be to someone who is like so creative, so talented, has so much potential, but does not know where to start with marketing themselves or creating or making themselves a brand.
I think especially, I mean, I'm a photographer, so this obviously is going to hit home for photographers. I think because the culture was so like, you don't know who the photographer is. I take the pictures, you have a picture of the model as your profile picture.
Right.
You're not confident in your appearance. You're a great photographer, but you're not confident of how you look. So you're never really going to put yourself out there. You're hurting yourself. So like, I'm trying to break that barrier. But I think getting into the notion of like posting yourself, posting behind the scenes, it's just a law of attraction. Like when people ask me how do you get more work, you show that you're working. People want to be like, damn, he's really shooting like that. Like, hey, what are you doing Sunday? Like, that's what it is. You're not losing by showing people. So like, and that's part of the brand. Like, showing some of your interests that aren't too controversial. Like, you don't have to talk about politics. Maybe post a meme, positive stuff. You know what I mean? So because if you're not showing yourself, no one knows nothing about you. So you need to have something that kind of like symbolizes how you feel as a person outside of photography. So like it just all encompasses you. So like when someone thinks about me, it's like, man, Ron, he's a go-getter. He does fitness. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's an educator, as opposed to someone's like XYZ photographer. It's like, yeah, he takes those pictures. I don't even know who he is,
Right.
I think I know who he is. Like having like, even for me on my personal, on my brand page, like when you click tagged photos, all the tag photos are me. I don't have any tag photos of models because my best work is on my page anyway and on my website. So I'm not like, we don't have time to scroll. Like, oh, what's this photographer look like? Like, no, like quick tag is like, oh, that's him.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, that's so smart.
But it takes time. It takes having confidence in yourself, but then also understanding that you're going to have to get over that fear of whatever it is if you want to leverage your brand. Like I had fear. Like I've just now started posting on YouTube, but then I got, you have like judgment of others is huge. So we're worried about what other people think. But when you want to make that bag, people need to know who you are. They need to feel like they know you. Like we don't buy from people we don't like or know. So it's like, that's just what it is,
Facts, no printer. Yeah, no, you worded it so well because there's so many photographers, I don't know what the fuck they look like, like, and even when we were shooting back in the day, we would show up to these shoots and it was like going on a blind date because I was like, I don't even know who I'm looking for, which in hindsight is probably not safe, but it's so true. And I think so many people are so scared to put their face, be the face of their business, but it sells so much better. People want to relate to someone else. They don't want to relate to an account that has no face behind it. And I really like how you use the tagged photos feature.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's really smart. And like, I don't know, I've never heard anyone really utilizing that feature. Like it's always just like random ass tagged photos. So that's super smart.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. So as a male photographer, constantly working with females
and bathing suits
in bathing suits, obviously, you want to do your best to make people feel comfortable. And so what are some of the ways that you've kind of navigated that space and like making, women feel comfortable as a male photographer? And I feel like it's like becoming more and more common, like with pages like Shit Model Management and stuff, like people are getting called the fuck out, and as they should, mainly photographers. So it can be a really like scary industry right now. So yeah, I'm just curious how you navigate that.
There's a number of things you can do. I mean, personally speaking, like if I'm DMing a model to work with them, I'm keeping the DM there. And also if it does leak the DM, it's going to email. Like I never ask for a model's number ever.
I love
it's even to the point where it's like, even the day of the shoot, if she's willing to communicate through the DM the whole time, I'm cool with that until she gets frustrated and says, hey, here's my number. If she gives me the number, that's fine. But it never happens. Like I'm never gonna ask her for a number. It's always DM or email. Also, when you're strategizing shoots, be careful because you'll know like the intentions of the photographer, especially like they send you all clothing and then the last photo is like implied. It's like you have to be very intentional. It's like, hey, listen, I like what you sent me here, but I don't know what that last photo was. So
Yeah.
They'll like try to sneak it in at the end.
yeah, they'll try to sneak it in. So I'm very clear on that. The communication is clear. And then also like, no, like if you don't feel comfortable, I think I encourage people because I have a studio in my house. So I encourage, I'm like, hey, listen, bring a friend with you of your liking, like bring somebody with you. And I worry like, hey, bring a friend so you can do BTS because I don't want to make it, I don't want to make it uncomfortable at all. I don't want to say, like, why is he telling me to bring a friend? It's like, hey, you can bring a friend if you want to do BTS, you know?
Yeah,
And I
love
recently
that.
had a shoot like that. She came by herself, but that's because of the brand that I built and she trusts me. But I always offer that. I never get her number, and just, you know, try to be professional as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's such sound advice because it just, oh man, it sucks. Like we have heard just so many stories over the years. And it's like with photographers, you even like we've built a relationship with, and then you find out stuff later down the line. And it's just like, it's so shitty. And it's really hard for models because it's like something we're always trying to warn girls about, especially if they're new to the industry, is like, we've been in those situations, especially it's like when you're freshly starting and you don't really know what the boundaries are and you don't want to be hard to work with and you want the exposure. It's like you will be willing to do things or you won't know how to stand up for yourself. So that's always like our words of advice for new models. We're like, you have to be so careful. And if you're not comfortable, fucking say it. Don't go, bring a friend, like everything. So I think like what you're doing is such sound advice. And I feel like that should just be like the rule book for male photographers and females too.
But then again, you know, like I don't think it's never ever necessarily an accident. Like people aren't, you know, creepy on accident. So it's like, you know, Ron's out here saying, yeah, I'm just not creepy. Like, you know, like that's just, you're like, I'm just being professional as you should, you know, like when, you know, I feel like a lot of these situations like are kind of not unavoidable, but it's like you can obviously like, I feel like you just need to weed it out, like, you know, with the way someone's like speaking, the way someone's like acting towards you. Like, it's not like, you know, I almost don't feel like it's like a thing of like professionalism. It's like, it's either they're fucking weird or they're not. You know what I mean?
And it's about intentions too.
Yeah.
I mean, we know damn well a lot of photographers are in this space with the wrong intentions.
Exactly.
Like, it's not to be a hustler and to grow their portfolio and to create a book of work. It's like to get girls. And it fucking sucks.
Yeah, like it's very clear, like looking at Ron's work, it's like, you know, there's so much pride. There's so much pride. Like it's so well done. It's tasteful. Like, but you know, you see a lot of other people's photography and it's like, you know, it's a little bit raunchy or it's a little bit, you know,
but then is it art? You know, like where do you
I'm talking about stuff that's not art.
Where do you draw the line between things that are art, considered art, or it's just like, no, that's just a fucking naked
I'm talking
girl.
raunchy. Like, you know, tasteful versus raunchy.
Gotcha.
And that's fine. Because if that's some, you know, if that's some people's vibe, that's their vibe. But I'm saying, you know, I'm speaking to like, you know, our model, you know, audience and our influencer audience that are trying to shoot with people for exposure. Don't shoot with people that, you know, aren't shooting your vibe. Even if they might be like good. But if they're shooting like raunchier stuff, that's going to be their vibe. Yeah. Like that's going to be the type of shit that they want to shoot with you and that they're going to potentially expect from you because it's like, oh, well, you knew my work and you wanted to shoot. Right. Whereas you were like, oh, well, I was just hoping we could take your style and put it into something a little classier. They're like, nah, I want to see some titty. Like, that's it.
It's almost the same thing. Like even when girls ask me, they want to shoot nudes, like, yeah, we can, but I'm not posting that. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm posting.
Yeah, you're like, we can take this and you can do with it what you want, but
yeah, you know. If you're paying me to shoot it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually don't even know how I would go about that.
What?
Like if someone wanted me to like shoot them nude. I'm like, I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah, no.
Depending on the person.
Yeah, definitely. And your comfort level with them. That's important.
I'm not trying to edit some booty hole.
Yeah. I cannot, bro. No, yeah. I love what you said. And I seriously feel like that should just be a playbook. And is that what you like? Do you tell other photographers that you're mentoring like those tips too?
Yeah. You know, because I get questions like that all the time. Recently, a guy was like, hey, man, how do you stay professional? You know, it's like, I can't live.
How do you stay professional?
Lifestyle. Like I can't sleep at night. I can sleep at night knowing that there's no stories of me.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't happened. It's like, it's to the point where it's like, if you flirted with me, I probably wouldn't have known because I'm just so focused on the craft. But, you know, I just have like number one, I don't get a model's number, especially like the first time I'm shooting it. Like the girls that I've shot in the past, I have their number now because I work with them. The brands reached out, we exchange numbers, but in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
don't give him your number. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I feel comfortable. That sets a tone. If he's a creep, he's like, damn, I don't have a number. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And things get around so fast in our world. It's like if one thing happens, I guarantee you it's going to trickle down. Other people are going to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much like it's almost like you don't want to have to explain how to be a professional, but it's so nuanced, and it's like there's just things you shouldn't be commenting on. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of photographers that like we have shot with, and like you can tell like in the verbiage and like when they're like directing you, or you know, like they're like, oh, like good, stay there. Some photographers will be like, oh my god, yes, that's beautiful,
So hot.
sexy,
So
hot.
hot.
And these are heterosexual men. Like they're not gay. They're not hyping you up. It's not like a safe sort of thing. It's like they're being fucking weird.
Yeah, it's so much in the comments that photographers make too. Like,
yeah,
it really
it's a
makes
lot
all
about that.
it really makes all the difference.
Because you know, and like it's okay to be like, no, you like that looks really good, stay there.
Yeah.
Versus being like, that's so hot, stay there.
Yeah,
Like what? Like you can't teach that to someone. You feel me? Like that's either that's like a little nuance of like you're either, you know, weird or you're not.
yeah, I don't know.
I could at some.
Yeah, we could go on for days.
I could
about
at some Miami photographers right now, but I won't.
I think it's great that you like give that advice, especially for people who are new and like truly, I don't know. I feel like it's better to mold them when they're just starting out than to like get them 2 years in and then you're
Can't
like,
teach an old dog new tricks.
yeah, and then you're like, oh, buddy, you've been doing that. Time to erase your past and hope you know, like hope those girls don't think you're
like I always get their number and send them pictures myself. Like what? Like,
yeah. Like and there's
like
I feel like a lot of photographers also like male photographers have this like misconception that they're like friends with the girls after like a shoot. So like, you know, we've obviously, you know, done trade shoots and it's like, you know, we set something up and of course you can be friendly with someone. But at the end of the day, this is a business relationship. We are working, we are doing a trade. And so like I'm not trying to like you know become like BFFs. Like we don't need to like be grabbing lunch right after. Not unless I'm like friends with the person. Like, you know, like obviously, you know, like Dante Tiro. I'm very close with him. Like, but that's because we've shot 10 times. Like he was at my birthday party, you know, this last year. Like that's my
friendship.
That's my friend now. But like, you know, like I'm not trying to grab lunch with someone right after doing a collab. And I don't think that it's appropriate for a photographer to be asking that either, because then it kind of weighs on the model and they're like, oh,
is this normal?
Am I going to be getting my photos if I don't? Am I going to, we were talking to one of our models the other day that had this situation and she was like, I felt bad, but the photographer wanted to get lunch right after and I just wanted to go home, but I felt bad because I didn't know, you know, if I was going to get my photos or XYZ. And I'm like, damn, like it's such an uncomfortable place to be in.
You shouldn't have to feel obligated to get your photos from a collaboration.
To go to a lunch to get your photos type shit.
Especially.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should definitely touch on like gathering a strong clientele, because I feel like a lot of photographers, like we've said, like have that creative side, but haven't like fostered that, you know, hustler side. And I feel like it does come natural to a lot of people, but for a lot of people it doesn't. So how do you get more clients for yourself? I know that you mentioned like showing that you're working, which I feel like is one of my tips as well. And I love that. But aside from that.
So aside from showing people that you're working, it's really nurturing the clients that you already have. At some point, every photographer will shoot someone of significance, or even if they're not of significance, you know, you'll shoot someone and hopefully you did a good job. It's more so like, what are you doing with that previous client? Are you checking up on them? Are you saying, hey, happy 4th of July, happy Labor Day, how's the kids? Sending them a print, like all these things I do. So it's like you're keeping that client you're keeping it on their mind. And then, you know, they're going to go to Kiki on the River. They're going to go to Komodo. What are they going to talk about? Hey man, you know, Ron gave me this gift. Ron, we did another photo shoot, you know? So I really don't have like a lot of clients, but the clients that I have, like I nurture those clients. I know about them. I know their kids. I know their birthday. I check in on them. And then also like, I give them stuff for free. Like some clients, like they only book me for photos. I may just give them a free 30-second video because like they're facilitating my lifestyle as well. Like, why would you not give them a gift? Like they're giving me thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
right? Let them know that I'm on their side too. Like, wow,
Yeah.
because with that video, they're going to generate money and then they're going to want another one. So that's how I kind of do it. So it's not like so much like, man, I'm running around looking for clients. Like, okay, who do I have? Who's been treating me good? Is it even? Can I offer them more value? And then it just all comes back. And then they're going to talk. Word of mouth is the biggest form of networking. And then
Yeah,
it
totally.
goes from there.
Yeah, that's such sound advice. I love focusing on, those, like, you could call them retainer clients, but just building real relationships. And it's so true what you said, is like checking in with them, like reminding them that you're there and that you're thinking about them. Like that matters to people, like they're like, oh,
I want to feel special.
Yeah, how nice. He thought of me. He checked in with me. He wished me happy birthday. Like that, those little things really add up and they really do matter, like, and you are taking active, steps to nurture the relationship. I think that is so smart, and something that I think we can definitely implement more with our business is just sending like follow-ups. Hey, how you doing? Thinking about you. Like hope everything's well. Even just checking in with where they're at with their business. I think is so smart. XOXO.
Even with like you find a new location, like tell the client like, hey, I think this would
Right.
be dope to shoot the new collection here. Ding
Right.
ding. Now they're
True.
thinking about it. Nobody else sent them that location. Who are they
Yeah.
gonna book? Even if someone else did hit them up, well, Ron just sent this Turks and Caicos or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now, it's just those little things, those tiny
Yeah.
little things.
Love that.
That's such sound advice. Okay, I have one more question. What would be your best advice for a photographer who's just starting out in 2021? What's the first thing they do?
A photographer that's just starting out, I touched on it before. Find someone that is already successful. Get as close to them get as close to that person as possible. Learn as much as you can, even if you can't get next to them. Get on YouTube University. I learned a lot of things. I go on YouTube. It's not a day I don't go on YouTube. It's just
Oh,
not.
I love that. Yeah,
I
just
am
educate
psychopath
yourself.
when it comes to YouTube. Yeah. And just learn, be a people person, put yourself out there, network. I don't network as much as I should, but I'm to a point where the word of mouth does all the networking for me. But don't be afraid to step out to the right places as well, because you're just one conversation, one person away from changing your life as well too. So,
Love that.
but
And
also just
go ahead. No, go ahead.
yeah, do those things, and then obviously you have to be good at what you do too. So you got to practice, you got to put that work in. Be willing to work, be willing to learn. And the rest will be history.
And what would you say for someone who's a little scared to put themselves out there or to reach out to the mentor?
Have people hold them. Okay, so that's kind of like referring to me, right? If they're afraid to reach out to me, I don't know, just do it. Like it's not
just
like,
grab your balls and do it.
Yeah, you got to knock on 10 doors. You're gonna get 10 no's. You get one yes. You know what I mean? Like it's not that.
And how much of success in photography do you think is mindset versus talent or hustle?
It's really all mindset, because as I'm talking to more creatives, it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. And then because of the mindset, they're not taking action, as opposed to like the person that's good, that's like just not doing anything. So like the person that is taking the most action is going, eventually,
right.
Yeah. And I mean, someone could be a way more talented photographer, but if they're not putting themselves out there, then they're not getting the work. And I've seen like not great photographers
make it
working and making it simply because they know how to put themselves out there. So
yeah, it reminds me of like singers who like don't have a great voice, but they're like great at dancing and like they look great and they're very like charismatic and they make it with like auto-tune,
Yeah, literally.
It's like you just need a mix of both, but you got to make sure you're marketing yourself, because if you can have an amazing product, but if people don't know about it, people aren't buying it.
Hey,
like
shit out of luck.
Yeah, I mean that's how we feel about the podcast too. We're like, it's so good. Not enough people know it exists though. Like it needs to go out to more people, and that's it's all in marketing.
But we believe in the podcast, and we believe in the product. And like people like you, like the guests that we have on, and so just about getting it into the hands of the right people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. You guys put in the work, so
you guys are putting in the work. Appreciate it. Sure. We're definitely manifesting it.
Yeah. So we have 2 questions that we wrap up every guest podcast with a guest with. And the first question is, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever received? Paid bookings
Yeah, the
only.
pause. Yeah, I should have an answer for this. The best piece of advice.
Something that you just carry with you, you know, like whatever it may be, like a little mantra.
I would say if it was easy, everybody would do it.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. Success, because it's hard, you know.
Simple.
Like it's hard. Success is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's not easy. It's not for everyone. So like, it's so true. Okay, the last question is, what is your best biz pro tip? So could be a mindset thing, could be like an app that you think people sleep on, or like it could be anything.
Perfect. All right. So people don't want anything until they see it. And it's simple, right? You have to give them something to understand what they want. So simple example, that's posting on social media. You know, you have to give yourself a chance, you know, so don't hold back on content. You know, if someone comes here with Chick-fil-A, now I want Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Who doesn't want Chick-fil-A? But it's because they presented it. So like, just, you know, post content, put yourself out there, and you'd be surprised. People don't know what they want until they see it. You know?
Right. And then power of social media. Like if you're not using it as a tool, you're losing it.
Facts.
Relevant.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Well, in the world of the internet, you're irrelevant, but not in real life. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. This has been awesome. Such a good conversation. I really hope anyone who's out there who's looking to get into photography or just learn more about the industry and the space really gains something from this. If people want to follow you and follow your journey, where can they find you at?
Follow me on Instagram, Ronald Wayne _ and YouTube, Ronald Wayne.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, subscribe to his YouTube channel. I know the YouTube hustle. It is so real and it is a struggle.
He's out there though.
I will subscribe to your channel.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks so much, Ron. Guys, if you like this episode, please take a screenshot, share it with someone, send it to someone that you think that would love this, post it on Instagram, tag us, tag Ron, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, brothers. Bye.